Hey there everyone, Pal here, and welcome back. Today it's time for a World of Warships replay, and I got a good one for you guys of the Bismarck. This is probably one of my 5 favorite ships that I currently have available in-game, and I'll explain a little bit more why going into it. I just want to set the stage up for a little bit for this one getting in. So, it is a tier 10 match, though there's only, 3 tier 10s on each team? 3, 4? Looks like three. So I am the bottom tier, which is never something you want to be, but the Bismarck definitely can hold his own against about anything but the Yamato. The Yamato's guns are big enough to really just punch through all of your armor, but anything under that, including the Montana, you can fight reasonably well. So that's okay. Also, let's see. This replay starts off really slow. For the first 5 minutes, not a whole lot happens. I'm going to use that as a positive, though. We're going to go ahead and we'll be able to talk about the ship, the play style of it, and everything a little bit more as we go into that. Also, this is unfortunately a replay clip, meaning the automated replay system within World of Warships that you can turn on. What that means is you're going to occasionally see some weird, funky artifacting on the screen. You'll occasionally see me shoot somewhere where my guns don't actually appear to be aiming. It's just the replay doesn't sync up correctly. Unfortunately, Shadowplay didn't record the full game that I wanted it to. It only recorded 5 minutes, so I got to use the replay file. It still works to demonstrate what's going on. Okay, so the Bismarck. What is so good about this ship? Well, this ship really fits my playstyle. As someone that tends to be a little bit more aggressive, I like to get in there with the battleships. I like to follow the destroyers in and be that larger target for people to shoot at. I don't like taking the shots, but just having presence near caps as a battleship changes the way games play out a lot. And this was something that really bothered me when I didn't really play battleships a lot, you would see battleships sailing around 2-3 grids away from the cap circles because they didn't want to take damage. Well, maybe it wasn't just that, but also there's a mentality where you have the longest range, so you should use that range to your advantage. The problem is the guns on every battleship are just very inaccurate when you start looking at their max range, be it lower tier where your max range is maybe 16 kilometers or high tier where your max range is maybe 23, 25 kilometers, maybe even a little bit more than that at the tier 10. So when you only really try to engage targets at that range, while 1 in 20, 1 in 30 salvos, you might end up with some really good lucky numbers. Generally speaking, you're going to miss just way more than you're going to hit. When your shells are in the air for 15 seconds, no matter how well aimed you are, that means there's 15 seconds for the target you're shooting at to say, oh, I'm going to change direction or speed, and you're going to miss. So yeah, I like to really just get in there. And that was why right off the bat at the start of this round, I went ahead and I just turned and I started chugging right for A. And this is a pretty common strategy here on this map. A and B tend to be where everybody goes, and you'll see 1 or 2 ships occasionally go up to C. And that can also be a real problem. A very good strategy for this map is to take 3 ships up to C, whoever spawns there, and do a CB, because what will likely happen is you'll find very little resistance up there, as most times both spawns, both north spawn and south spawn, head to A in large numbers because of the islands, because of the cover it does give. But since I did spawn down here by A, I'm going to take full advantage of that. And so far, nothing much is going on. We are looking to see if we can bring that Fletcher within range, but he's still out there a little bit, and I'm expecting this North Carolina here. North Carolina's an amazing battleship. Their guns, the primary, if he gets all 9 of those to barrel me broadside, I will pay for it big time. So I want to be aware of that. Also, I'm noticing I am detected right now. Being detected, that Fletcher's not seeing me. He's behind the island. So there's got to be something up there around the what would that be, about F4 position, cutting between those 2 islands, something spotting me from there, from up towards the B location. I'm being spotted. So once I get in behind this island here, I'm going to cut speed and basically just come to a complete stop. I'm also going to throw hydro up, just expecting torpedoes because I don't know where that guy's going. We do see, though, looking at the map, the North Carolina is peeling off. So I talked a little bit there about the mentality that I use when playing battleships. So why does the Bismarck fit that so well? It's all about the secondaries. This is a full secondary build loadout. I'm running everything I can, including the flags, though I think I've run out of one of the flags, so my secondaries only shoot at 10.5 kilometers rather than 10.6. But still, I'm able to reach out there over 10 kilometers with the secondaries on this ship and really pepper some things. Now, the secondaries are more of a, well, they're both. Their numbers are great. What they do in terms of damage is okay once they really start firing, just because they're going to set a lot of fires. The actual shell damage isn't going to be all that great, but they will set targets on fire pretty darn consistently. But it also works as just a mental break where when you're sailing along, and if you're not in a battleship that can absorb it, if you're in a destroyer or cruiser, and all of a sudden all these shells, even though they're relatively small caliber shells, come flying in at you, it just makes you want to get away from it. And it works as a great standoff method for the Bismarck. It allows the Bismarck to push into caps, and once you're in the middle of that cap, if anybody else wants to take it, they got to come and sail into those secondaries, or they have to kill you and push you out of it. So the secondaries work great for that. It also allows you to effectively engage 2 targets at once. You can be firing your primary guns at one target while your secondaries are engaging another target at that range, which very few other ships can do. You can do a secondary build with a few of the Japanese ships, even some of the Americans, but their ranges are never going to be equivalent to what this ship can put out here. Now that we have A, I was originally going to, and you might have noticed, initially I was going to loop back around to the east, southeast, and come back up towards the backside of B. But as soon as I started going, we did notice that Fletcher, and when you have a destroyer out of place like that, isolated by himself, you have to take advantage and kill that destroyer. If we had left him, say that DM Dominaski couldn't have finished him off, he managed to sneak away and everything, that destroyer's his one-shot potential with those torpedoes is just too great. When you have a destroyer isolated like that, you've got to take advantage of it. So as soon as I started sailing back east, I saw him there. I went ahead, cut back in, put my secondaries within range, and now since all my momentum's this way, we have the guns facing this way, we might as well push the advantage and continue up here on the west flank. Some other information about the Bismarck. So her primary guns are not great. They're not terrible. They're the Gneisenau's guns. Now, you do get an extra turret of them, so you're firing 8 of them rather than 6. They also seem to be a little bit better. They have better dispersion, I think, than the Gneisenau. I haven't actually sat down and gone over to the stat page and looked at the dispersion numbers, but they feel to have better dispersion, also better sigma values, which is your vertical dispersion. So regular dispersion is horizontal, how far from your point of aim, left or right, your shells could go, or the x-axis, whereas sigma values is how far vertically, or your y-axis, they could change. Both of them feel better. They're still not great. This is not a sniper battleship. The the North Carolina in this battle is the sniper battleship. He's the one that you got to be careful of. That guy at 15, 18, 20 kilometers can put out very accurate salvos. You're not going to be doing that with the Bismarck, but the guns are accurate enough that, like you can see here, there's this New Orleans that just popped up. I'm going to try and bring my guns back around to bear on him a little bit, though I'm watching this smoke screen because this Freddy Izumo is getting lit up. He's burning. I think he's also flooding. I think he took a torpedo there at the end of that, and I'm hoping the smoke's going to fail, but nope, not in time to, well, we weren't going to save him no matter what. But you'll see here in a moment, I will do a snapshot up on this New Orleans, which is, what, about 18.5 kilometers out there, and they're fairly accurate. I do lead the New Orleans a little bit more than I should. I thought he was at full speed, and he definitely wasn't. Oh, wait, that comes after I dodged the torpedoes from the Z-52. We're moving on in. As you can see, so far we've done basically nothing. 3,500 damage, 4 secondary rounds, and 1 overpen. So far the game has gone off very, very slow. But while we are out here in this position, we are just a threat to anything that comes within that 10-kilometer range. And here comes that Z-52 out of the smoke. Now I go ahead, I have the secondaries firing. There's a North Carolina shooting it at me. Keep an eye on that North Carolina, what he was firing, and what he's going to be firing in the future, because it comes into play for how this game is going to play out. And now that the secondaries are going, though, we're going to just push our advantage on that Z-52. His smoke, German DDs, their smoke doesn't last all that long. If I'm not mistaken, it's better than Japanese, but way below American. So we're going to just push our advantage on that guy, try to get in there. We have to keep that distance under, if he's firing, he's detected all the way out, but we got to keep, someone has to be within, I want to say like 8.8 of him. Unfortunately, we're losing our friendly destroyers left and right here. In fact, our team's kind of crumbling at this point. People are just falling all over themselves. So, as I was saying about the Bismarck, okay guns, but the guns are really ones that you want to get in close. You want to be within 14 kilometers to start using them. I like to play aggressive, so I get within that 14-kilometer range. Great secondaries, terrific secondaries, some of the best tier for tier, if not the best tier for tier in the game. You also get the great thing of hydroacoustic search. being almost any other battleship, well, not any other battleship, but any non-German battleship that doesn't get this hydroacoustic in this situation with a heavy destroyer team comp would be a very scary thing. But since I have hydroacoustic and I also have the scout plane, not the scout plane, but the catapult fighter, it gives me just enough torpedo notification that I can pretty reliably push into these caps, knowing, you know, if a wave comes at me, I might take one on the nose as I'm coming in, but I'm probably going to get away relatively safe. New Orleans has managed to beach himself. Unfortunately, he goes unspotted right as it happens. We put out a few shots. We just need to nick him and we should be able to kill him. And here comes the Havrask. Havrask? I don't even know how to pronounce it. The Tier 10 Soviet main destroyer. This guy received a pretty massive nerf here recently, mainly in his turning speed, but they didn't do anything to his guns. And as you can see, the rate of fire he can put up, and it's on point. He knows what he's doing. He's peppering my superstructure, and this guy alone is probably going to burn me for about half of my health over the course of the rest of this game. He is a determined little bugger. And I can't really turn to address him because I do know there is still a Z-52 out in front of me. So if I turn back towards him too much, I could expose myself to that Z-52 coming in with torpedoes from the other angle. Unfortunately, hydroacoustic search is on cooldown right now. And there's the Z-52, and there goes the smoke screen. Oh boy, now we're in trouble. So I have to turn one way. I got to do something here. I'm in the cap, but directly to like my 10 o'clock, I have a destroyer. To my 7 o'clock, I have a destroyer. And then I have a New Orleans further out there. At this point, I'm committed to the turn. But what we can do is, expecting torpedoes, we cut our speed completely. We take our speed down as low as we can. Any torpedoes fired, hopefully, if he did an actual aim drop and didn't just scatter, hopefully they went out in front of us. We're going to go ahead and, we see him there in the smoke. He's backing up. We got secondaries going. We're going to fire. We're going to do pretty good damage, but we're not going to kill him. But in comes a salvo from the cruiser behind me that will finish him off. And now we're in a little bit of a tough spot. Damage control is on cooldown. Repair party is on cooldown. We're burning in two different places. We're under fire from two different ships. That New Orleans needs to die quick. The Havrask needs to die pretty darn soon after that, or we're going to be in trouble. Luckily, the fires do go out, so there we go. We're moving again. And what I want to do now is, we do have this friendly smoke here from the destroyer that did just take a torpedo after, what was it, the Z-52 got, whatever the award is for killing after you've died. Flesh wound, just a flesh wound. Okay, so we're going to move in here. We're going to try and sit down for a little bit, sit in the smoke, and maybe get a repair party going before we go. It's right now 3 versus 6, or 3 versus 5. I can count. Unfortunately, though, if we take a look out there, their team is relatively healthy. We'll see a lot more of them here soon. We saw the Havrask was pretty darn full health. We just saw the Ebden was pretty darn full health. The North Carolina that was shooting at me for a little bit there, but we didn't really get any shots on him, so he's pretty high health. The only thing we don't know about is there's, let's see, another cruiser we don't know about, and there's the FDG that we don't know about in terms of health. Now they're starting to be spotted. Our Kagero, or no, I'm sorry, it's not, is it a Kagero? Yeah, Kagero over there on the east is spotting them for us. It's well, that's the Edinburgh. There's something else. New Orleans is the other destroyer, or other cruiser, and he is not at full health. He's the one that we've been peppering for a little while. Looks like he's sitting still. Yep, that red dot. So that is one of Aslan's mods I'm using. I should actually talk about this a little bit. So I use 3 Aslan mods. One of them is just the, if I hit tab and show the team, one is just the torpedo ranges on ships. One is that movement indicator. So if the green dot means they're moving forward, a red dot means they're sitting still, and a purple dot means they are in reverse. And now it only works on the ship you're actually looking at, and there's the FDG, and he's at about half health, which is about what I'm at, but he is one tier higher than me. He's got better guns than me, and he's got roughly the same secondaries as me. So he is not something to be taken lightly. Because of this, both battleships are over there. I'm going to do my best. I want to get this island up here in front of me. So I'm going to stay angled towards the FDG, and I'm going to steam straight for this island, and at the last second, I'm going to pull to my port, and hopefully put that island between me and at least the North Carolina, if not between me and both battleships. That is my thought of what I want to do. Luckily, though, the friendly Kagero does come through real good right here, and you'll see in a moment what happens. Well, it's a Kagero, so it's going to be torpedoes, and here they come. The FDG has to turn to identify those, or to address those torpedoes. As he comes around, he does still take a few of them, And we'll see it right there. There we go. It takes him down real low. Now I'm pretty proud about this shot right here. So we got an island in the way, and I managed to just lob these shells between the little sticky up chimney part of the rock of the island and the main island, and we do finish off the FDG, which does bring us right back into this battle. And at this point, I'm actually undetected. We are down now. It's 3v3, and we have a pretty good fighting chance here. I have still 2 repair parties left, which could bring me back up quite a bit of health. A lot of the damage I've taken has been from fire. Very little of it's been from AP, so I will be able to recover a lot of health with that. But I need some time in order to let everything tick. We do have the caps right now, and so the numbers, we're not pushed on time too bad. As long as we can stay alive, we're going to be okay. And I say that we're going to lose our friendly cruiser here real soon, if I'm not mistaken, which unfortunately is going to put us back in bad numbers. And now, right now, we finally get our revenge on this Hobrosk. Here he comes. I'm sure he thinks I was heading north, so he's coming out to chase down our Kagero. He comes around at close range. He's already on fire. His engines are out. He's not moving very fast. Secondary's lighting him up. Guns come around and get off one salvo of guns. The second salvo was coming around, but there we go. We finish him off. That felt good. Getting rid of that guy who had been peppering me all battle felt really, really good. But we're not out of it yet. We did lose the Dominovsky, and here comes a nearly full health North Carolina. This is the guy from earlier. And I said pay attention to what he's firing, because this guy gave us the game. He allowed us to win. You'll see here, I still haven't done a huge amount. For less than 5 minutes left, for being 16 minutes into the game, I've done 50,000 damage. Now, I have done 61 secondary shells, and 2 of my kills, I think, were done off secondaries. At least one was. So it's not huge, but here comes the North Carolina round. We're going to go ahead, and we were waiting for him, so we got off a good salvo on him, and then we turned back in, and that salvo hurt. He felt that one bad. Secondaries are going, but he's firing HE. Okay, now maybe he was just firing HE because he expected me to be angled or whatever. I start turning out here. Now I get into a little bit of a conundrum. I got to take my chance on this Edinburgh. We have to. I can't let him take down the destroyer. We got to take a chance on him. So I want to get my guns back out. Unfortunately, I'm steaming right at this island. I do get a good salvo on him, though. Get a Citadel plus a pen, 3 overpens. Get the secondaries going on him. He felt that one. But now I got to start turning or I'm going to beach myself. And we definitely don't want to do that. And here comes shells from the North Carolina again. And he's still firing HE. Now, the HE... This is something for when I'm going to start making some more videos on this. HE on battleships is something that gets underused. There's definitely points where you want to use HE. HE shells do a lot of damage, and against angled battleships, they're really, really quite useful. And a lot of people, they will just stick with AP no matter what. Now, there's definitely justifications for that. If you are in a target-rich environment where you know at any point a cruiser could pop up here or there and you want to have that snap AP shot on him, keeping the AP loaded is a good thing. But in this situation here, against me, he should just be unloading AP into my superstructure. And that's what I'm basically going to do to him also. He's got a good angle on me. I don't know why he's firing the HE, but he is maintaining his angle quite well. It's not so much that my secondaries aren't able to hit him, but I'm going to have a tough time really getting in and citadeling him. Basically, it's going to be impossible to citadel him at this point. But if I aim higher, and that was a bad shot, no, that actually wasn't a bad shot, but I put my AP rounds into his superstructure, he's still going to take some big damage from that. At this point, I was a little drunk when I was playing this. At this point, though, I did realize, yeah, he is actually firing only HE. I haven't seen him fire anything but HE the entire game, so I say screw it, I'm going for it. My repair party is about to come off cooldown. I'm going to start getting health back. I'm already ahead of him. I want to just get everything I can into him. We got to go in for this win because we're running out of time. We got a minute 40. We're down by about 100 points. If I can kill this guy, we can flip it around and have a real good chance of winning. So I just turn in. I accept that he's probably going to burn me. I don't really care. I'll take it. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to finish him off, and that's going to be the end of that. And right there is the Kraken. Now we start to see some of the damage numbers. We are up to that 113,000 mark, which again isn't great. Any battleship round under 180,000 isn't amazing. Like 180 to 220,000 is very doable in a top tier battleship where the match goes your way. But this was enough to swing us back. Points-wise, we are now just barely in the lead. The Ebden now needs to commit. If they want to win, he either needs to take a cap. Well, even then, he probably doesn't have enough time for the cap. He's got to sink one of us, either me or the destroyer. And that's going to force him to come in close. This Ebden, though, I don't know what all he did in the round. His team, you'll see here, talking some crap about him. They didn't seem to like him too much. He is an evasive target, though. He does prove to be quite hard for me to actually hit. He knows how to use that British cruiser speed and maneuverability to make himself a hard target to hit. I do manage to nick him a few times here or there, but he's constantly changing speed and direction, zigging in, zigging out, making it real difficult. But at this point, he kind of just gives up and says, you know what, you guys can have the win. I'm going to go survive. Okay, we'll take the win. But this here was like, this is how I enjoy playing battleships. I get right in there. I want to be in the middle of that fight. And the Bismarck for that is just so good. It's so enjoyable. It's also tanky. That was something I really didn't go into. The Bismarck is very hard to citadel. Not impossible, but very hard to citadel. And you will take amazing, really rough AP damage. There's a lot of superstructure to this ship. If they aim high and do hit you with the AP, you are going to take some big damage from it, but you're not going to get that one-shot deleted, boom, you are dead from that, like you would in, say, that North Carolina, definitely anything below that, the Colorado, but even the Iowa can really be just deleted if you show your broadside. The Bismarck's great for, if you're in an Iowa and you end up in an oh shit situation, your only choice generally is to stop and reverse back. If you try and use your speed, which Iowa does have pretty good speed, and turn out and make a break for it, while you're in that turn, you're going to take far more damage. You're going to die. If you stop and you reverse back, you're still probably going to die because you're going to be going slow. They're going to overwhelm you, but you'll live another minute to 2 minutes longer, get off another 2 to 4 salvos, and do notably more damage if you reverse. You don't have to worry about that with the German battleships, the Bismarck, Große all of those. You can, in those situations, you can turn, show your broadside, and get running out, and you're still going to hurt from it, but you're not going to just be, boom, deleted. So when you put all these elements together, the guns that want to be closer range, the amazing secondaries, hydroacoustic search, superb armor, this ship just, I love the way it plays. And while that match, it was a Kraken, but the damage-wise of what I did wasn't amazing, it really showed, though, just how this ship can constantly be aggressive, be pushing. You want to get in there, fight it, use those secondaries, cause that to drive targets away, and yeah, you can definitely do some really good numbers with it. All right, guys, hope you found that enjoyable. Until next time, this has been Paller. Thanks for watching.